Yeah, I'm in a bit of a shitty mood. Just had to close down my PayPal account because somebody finessed the shit out of me, got me. I mean, they stuck me. Oh man. Anyway, life goes on though. I mean, it ain't too bad. I should be able to have everything rectified in a couple of days, but of course, it messed up some plans. But what's that? That's life, right? But anyway, I figured I take a second while I'm waiting on my PlayStation to update because I want to play The Last of Us. I tell a PlayStation story to you guys and share with you for some of my new subscribers. I don't really interact with y'all like I feel like I should because y'all, sometimes I don't know. Like some of my subs come through and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they here, sometimes they ain't. So I be feeling flip floppy like y'all. But anyway, let me just tell a quick story. As you can see from the thumbnail and title, I used to be a Sony pony, man. Yes, this is true. I actually used to be a Sony pony. Now, some of you refer to me as an Xbot or know me as a Xbox representative, which is actually true. But for the most part, honestly, I am a multi-platform channel. If a game comes out for a Nintendo, I'm gonna go buy a Nintendo, as I stated on the Weapon World podcast. I mean, it's not new. It's not new. Like these games kept me out of trouble. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, and a lot of things go on, man. And I try not to glorify that life and everything, but hey, man, it was either get down or lay down. I wasn't trying to lay down. Understand that? So anyway, with that being said, let's get into the story. Okay, I actually used to be a hardcore Sony fan. Before I even knew what a console was on YouTube, I was a Sony pony. I was on that pony powder hard body, believe it or not. Now I'm going to tell you all the story, and if you probably heard it in the back here, my PlayStation 4 boot up because it's updating. I'm going to tell you the story of how I ended up getting on Xbox. This is probably going to be a little funny to y'all. Okay. First of all, the original Xbox, I didn't even touch that. I didn't know what that was. All I saw was a big VCR. I was on that PlayStation like, what is that, dog? Fuck that right over there, dog. Fuck it right in the coochie. As you understand what I'm saying, because I was on the PlayStation. And I ain't gonna lie, the PlayStation to me, the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 was such a great console that I didn't need no other console in my life. You can tell me about no other console. Didn't want to hear about no other console because I was on that Sony powder. You understand? I was hooked. It was my favorite drug. Now, as far as the PlayStation was concerned, that's when I first got into like opening consoles and tinkering with the insides. Because I was always a kid that used to tinker with electronics. I used to take them apart and challenge myself, put them back together. I was a real geeky kid like that. So once I learned how to like modify PlayStations, I was like hooked after that. It was so many things I learned how to do that nobody knew how to do to like play free games. Yeah, pirate. I'm just gonna admit it. I learned how to pirate on PlayStation, and it was just over from then. It was like if that was crack, the PlayStation was the pipe. I just couldn't put it down, man. I just couldn't stop. I was like pony powered up. You know what I mean? This was before trophies and everything. And a couple of my friends knew I knew how to do it, and they would be coming over finessing my ego, like, yeah, that's amazing, do it for me. And before I know it, we was all jinking out here with these free PlayStation games. And it wasn't even a thing to say I was just liking it because of piracy. I was still buying games and everything, but it was just every now and again certain games I would be able to get those free because I wasn't like burning them or anything like that. But it was just like little areas in Chinatown where you could get you a little finesse copy real quick. So I was doing that, and I just knew how to mod the console to play those things. I didn't know how to make the games. So I would do that and shit, and it was popping. The hood, everything was cracking off crazy. It was going down, and I was just loving it. And then PlayStation 2, when that came out, it was just like the end all be all to consoles for me. I didn't know nothing about Xbox. Didn't want to know nothing about Xbox. I kept hearing little things here and there about it, but I just was so uninterested in Xbox. Then the 360 came out. Now, when the 360 came out, I was already upgraded to the PS3. My PS3 was a day one PS3. I still have it. It's the 60 gig backwards compatible PS3. So rare. Nobody even knows about it like that. It was the only console that was backwards compatible with PS2. So I have that PS3, bought it day one, paid like $800 for it. It was hard to get. Your boy was out there in the streets doing what he had to do. And yeah, I was balling back then, man. I'm broke now. For anybody that want to know, I'm completely fucking broke. Even though they robbed my PayPal, they didn't get much because I'm fucking broke. Okay, I emphasize I'm fucking broke. But anyway, with that being said, man, yeah. So I remember getting that PS3, man. I was loving it, and then something happened. Now at the time of the PS3, the Xbox was already out, had been out. It even had a console refresh. I'm talking about Xbox 360. Remember, like they was talking about this the other day. It didn't even have HDMI. It had the RCA jacks. If y'all want to know how far back the Xbox 360 was going. So I'm on PlayStation. Now, mind you, I had a standard definition TV. I had upgraded to a 1080i. Listen to what I'm saying. Now, 1080p, 1080i TV. This is before 1080p was standard. And I remember my mom's and me, we went to the store. My mom's actually brought me that TV. Shout out to Mom Dukes, because she brought me my first HD TV. And when she brought it, she brought her one and brought me one. And I got home and I hooked that up to my PS3. It was a wrap. That was my first time seeing HD. Dog, listen. I went from regular cocaine to straight up codeine and fish scale powder. You understand that Sony powder was real after that. You couldn't tell me nothing about this PlayStation after that. When I saw it in HD, I was playing shit like Puzzle Fighter, Gym Fighter, the Street Fighter Tetris game, and I was blown away by the graphics. I was like, yo, listen. It's all about the pony powder from here on out. Nothing goes down on Microsoft's side. Nothing. And I was a true hardcore pony. Now I'm going to tell you how this changed. The PS3 actually changed that for me. Okay. So, one day I was playing my PS3 and I did an update. And I did this update and, you know, my girl, you know, at the time, she ain't my girl now. We cool, but she ain't my girl now. My girl at the time, she was telling me like, yo, I did the update and I went to sleep. And when we got up the next day, she was telling me, yo, I can't get no games to work on the PlayStation. Something funny's going on. So I'm immediately like, yo, what'd you do? I'm ready to give it a pimp slap because you mess with my Sony product. What you do? Got to kill you. You got to die. So I was like, all right, let me see what's going on. You don't know, you a girl. You don't know what you're doing. You know, being sexist and stupid. You know how I go. But anyway, so I put in a disc and I see the little spinning icon. And I noticed right away when I saw the spinning icon, it wouldn't stop doing that. So I said, yo, what the hell is going on? So when I finally kept trying, I got the game to show. When I got the game to show and I clicked it, I got this yellow light where the light's supposed to turn blue when you get something to boot up. And I was like, yo, what the hell is this yellow light? I'm not familiar with seeing a yellow light. So I said, you know what, man, let me take it to the Google. You know, so I Googled yellow light. And you know what popped up? Yellow light of death, yellow light of death, yellow light of death, yellow light of death. Now, me being a hardcore Sony pony, I say, hold on. Sony doesn't do this. Xbox does this. Red ring of death, that's the only light of death that I know of. What is this yellow light? I said, this can't be right. Nah, this shit cannot be right. Nah, no. Sony ain't finessing people. Nah, can't be the case. So I'm like, okay, I started looking into it, then I started going to YouTube. Now, mind you, at this time, I was not a YouTuber as far as gaming. I was on YouTube, but I was like uploading videos that I shot. Wasn't doing actual commentaries and shit. So I said, yo, I'm learning more and more that this is something that's real. This is out here. This is something that's going down. It's something called the yellow light of death for the PlayStation. So I said, man, you know, okay. So I'm talking to my boy who happened to work at a game store on Canarsie on Rockaway. He worked in that store. And cat, I knew him and shit. He rapped. So I was like, all right, I was telling him about it. I said, yo, man, my PlayStation is not working. What do I do? Because at the time, I wasn't like savvy on the internet shit with gaming. I was just a gamer in the street, like street game. So he was like, yo, man, you better call Sony because when that happens, they replace it for you. I say, word? So this is something that you heard of? He said, yeah, it happens from time to time, but it's not like the red ring of death. So I was like, okay, but I never messed with Xbox. So he told me, like, you know, and it's his fault, man. He took me, he got me off of that pony powder, and I'm going to let him know now, man. He really was the one that got me off them drugs. So he was like, yo, listen. Why don't you take an Xbox until you get your new PlayStation? Because it's going to take you like 2 to 3 weeks to get it back. Or they can give you a new one. And if you want to do that, that'll happen. In the meantime, you can rock this Xbox. So I was like, I ain't buying no Xbox. So this is where he kind of got like, he started finessing me. He was like, listen, I need a video. Shoot me a music video and I'll give you an Xbox brand new. So I was like, you know what? I don't even want an Xbox enough for you to not pay me for my work. But I said, you know what? All right, we'll do that. That way I'll have the Xbox just to say I got it. Because, you know, I wasn't even planning on touching it. So he gave me the Xbox. He was like, all right, I'm going to contact you when we're ready to do the business, the video thing. So I was like, all right, cool. So I get home with the Xbox. I go to work that day. I come home. I said, let me hook up this fucking Xbox because I need something to play. And I was jonesing because I was like, I came home from work and I wanted to go get on my PlayStation. At the time, I was a beast on Grand Theft Auto 4 online. I was a fucking monster. So I was like, I gotta get on my Grand Theft Auto. I hook up the Xbox to my HD TV and I'm like, what is this trash? What is this trash, dog? So I immediately hit my man up. I said, yo, fam, you finessing? You flexing and finessing on me, dog? You bust a move on me? You got me for my talents? He was like, what you talking about? I said, this shit looks trash. He's like, oh, my bad. When you went to the store, my man gave you the Xbox. I wasn't, because that's what happened. I went and picked up the Xbox. He wasn't there when I actually went and picked it up, but he left it at the store for me. So when I picked it up, he told me there's 2 versions. I got the one with the RCA jacks. He was like, yo, no, you need the HDMI one. There's an update coming out that's going to make it HD. Now, I got the Xbox 360 right before it turned into a 720p console. This was the update in November. I think it was November 2007 or 2008. I'm not sure which year it is, but I know it was in November because this is when I got it. I got it right before it went HD. Because I had hooked it up, set up an account. This shit looked trash. I was like, this is looking like ill. This is looking like, nah, I can't mess with this. So I called Sony. Sony said, yo, do you have a receipt? If you don't have a receipt, we're not going to change your PlayStation. I was like, word. So I actually am a person that keeps my receipts, believe it or not. And I went into my receipt stash, and sure enough, I actually found the receipt from when I brought the PS3. Because if you buy something for $600-800, you're going to kind of keep the receipt just because it was that much money. Now, I might be being a little niggery when I say this, but it's just keeping it a buck with y'all. I really keep receipts and stuff like that just to show that I got something that was that expensive. I know. It's ghetto. It's ratchet. I know. But it's the truth. So I knew I was going to have the receipt. So I looked around, I found the receipt, and I was like, yo, while it was on the phone, of course, and I was like, yo, they was like, read off this information. So I read off the information, whatever. Do y'all believe, now I swear this is a true story. I swear on everything I love. Do y'all know that when I read the receipt off to them, they told me if I would have waited till tomorrow, my warranty would have been expired, which means I only had the console for a year. If I would have waited till tomorrow and called them, which I actually was going to do because I was pissed off, I would have actually had to buy a whole new PlayStation instead of getting it exchanged. So they told me everything was good. I just had to send them a picture of the receipt. They mailed out a box for me to put my PlayStation in, and that was how that went. Now, back to the Xbox. Now, in the meantime, while I'm sending out my PlayStation, I had this Xbox. He told me I was supposed to get the HDMI version. Update was coming out the next day. He was like, just trust me, try it. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I got it. I got the new console with the HDMI port. I plugged it in, and I can't front. When I downloaded the update to the UI, because that dashboard was so atrocious before they went HD. I wish I was capturing footage back then to show y'all that for this story, but I don't know. It was so bad. But anyway, okay. So I did the HD update, and I cannot front, guys. I was loving it. I was feeling Xbox. I was feeling it so bad. I was like, yo, this shit is hot. This shit is hot. I'm getting achievements. Now, mind you, PlayStation didn't have a trophy. Every time I did something, they was giving me points. I was like, hold on, why they awarding me for playing the game? Like, why they giving me stuff? So I was not used to getting stuff for playing my game. So I started to get kind of ill with that. Then I could make an avatar of what I look like. I could put fitted hats on this cat. It just was too much. It was too much for me. Because, PlayStation was so simplified. It was too much for me that they had us in an activity. I was able to go in the lobbies, and for some reason on Xbox, when I was going in the lobbies, dudes was live. They was lit. We was roasting each other. GTA was on some whole other level of hoodness. It was just crazy, man. And from that day, I just fell in love with Xbox. It was you know how they say when you meet your first love? It was like, yo, from the day I did that update and went on GTA Online, it was Xbox Live for life. I'm just sorry, man. The powder, everything, it was just out of my body. I detoxed. That was it. So I spent like a couple weeks playing this shit, and I finally got that big box in the mail. It was my PS3. Now they decided to replace my PS3 because they told me that something happened where it just died. But truly, the update did that. I don't care what nobody say. That update bricked my PS3. That they did. And when I was reading online, a few people had that problem. A lot of people after that update had the same yellow like I had. So it was something funny with Sony's update. There was rumors that they got hacked by Microsoft. All that. That's when I started hearing about the console. All that dumb shit started coming out. But the bottom line is, when I got my PS3 back, right? For some reason, that's when the graphics on me started kicking in. I was noticing that my PS3 games did not look as good as my Xbox games. That's when I was noticing that the Xbox had native resolutions and the PlayStation was doing some kind of upscale shit. So the bottom line is, yo, graphically and with the achievements and all that, it just was killing. It killed Sony for me. My PlayStation 3 ended up going in the corner and never getting touched again, man. And I really, really hardly ever touched that PS3. Poor thing, man. It's dusty now. I gotta go clean it off just because it's dusty. But I figured I'd share that story and tell you, yo, that's how that happened, man. Because I used to be a hardcore pony, man. But when I got my first achievement on Xbox, oh man, it turned me out, man. It turned me out, man. You know? So I figured I'd share with y'all, man. That's how I became an Xbox, or if y'all want to call it that. Because I'm really a multi-plat. I still like to see Sony do their thing. I already just came from going to GameStop. I was getting ready to go there. It started raining. Going to finish making my preparations for that Pro. I'm definitely hyped for that Pro. I'm probably gonna flip flop and just stay on Pro until they bring out the Scorpio, just because I'm a graphics one. I can admit that, man. I really am one of those. I ain't gonna even front. Like, if a game got hot graphics, I will play it and buy it even if the game is trash. I'm gonna admit that. I can admit that about me, man. I honestly, the game got hot graphics. I don't care how trash it is. I'm rocking that shit. But yeah, man. So I figured I'd share that story with y'all. Now that y'all know the truth, man. I used to be a Sony pony, man. But don't tell nobody that. But yeah, it's a true story, man. The achievements did it, man. I was like, woo! I'm getting points for playing. Oh man, power to the player. It was on, man. But anyway, man, it's a difference between being a gamer with skills and being an intellectual gamer. I just happen to be an intellectual gamer with skills. I'm out of here. Peace.